Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Arif Ismail, number 264159. In this video, I will talk about the lesson on theory of framework that is relevant for this case, MJD Manufacturing, capital budgeting decisions during pandemic. The main theory used in this case is capital budgeting theory. So what is capital budgeting theory? Planning for long-term investment like new machinery, replacement machinery, new plants, new products, and research and development project is called capital budgeting. This process helps an organization figure out which of these long-term investments are worth pursuing. When making large capital investment or expenditures, it is important to plan ahead. As a best case scenario, businesses will engage in any and all projects and opportunities that would increase shareholder value and profits. Capital budgeting, on the other hand, is used to evaluate which projects would generate the biggest return over a given period of time because there is a limited supply of capital. So there are several capital budgeting analysis methods that can be used to determine the economic feasibility of a capital investment. They include payback period, net present value, profitability index, and internal rate of return. The payback period refers to the amount of time it takes to recover the cost of an investment or how long it takes for an investor to hit break-even. The project or investment with the shortest duration is opted for, while the net present value approach is the most intuitive and accurate valuation approach to capital budgeting problems. Discounting the after-tax cash flows by the weighted average cost of capitals allows managers to determine whether a project will be profitable or not. Profitability index is the ratio of payoff to investment of a proposed project. It is a useful tool for ranking projects because it allows you to quantify the amount of value created per unit of investment. And the last one is the internal rate of return. Rule is a guideline for evaluating whether a project or investment is worth pursuing. The project with higher IRR is usually selected. So let's see this theory related with the case. In this case, NPV and IRR is applied for deciding whether to move forward with an investment in new machinery or retool some of MJD's operation to produce COVID-19 supplies. The NPV rule states that all the projects with a positive net present value should be accepted, while those that are negative should be rejected. So this is the formula to calculate NPV. While the formula of IRR will use exactly the same formula as NPV. The difference here is that instead of summing future cash flows, this time we set the net present value equal to 0, and then we solve for the discount rate. Now, by referring to the information provided in the case, let's see the forecast of net profit for 3 years from year 2021 to 2023 for two different kinds of PPE, which is face shield and N95 mask, in order to calculate the NPV. So we assume the discount rate of 10% for both investment to calculate the NPV. Okay. The first one, face shield. So this is the forecast considering Government of Ontario will only contribute 500k grant to MJD. With the initial investment 4 million, so we will see the NPV and IRR is positive. Therefore, this project is viable. Next is N95 mask. So this is the forecast considering Government of Ontario's grant with a low sales scenario and the demand of the mask to 36 months. Unfortunately, NPV and IRR value for N95 mask is negative. Thus, this project is not viable. And now let's see the advantages and disadvantages of capital budgeting. The first advantage is MJD can choose a technique or method from various techniques of capital budgeting like payback period, net present value, profitability index, and internal rate of return to estimate whether it is financially beneficial to take on a project or not. Second, capital budgeting will help MJD to understand the various risks involved in an investment opportunity and how these risks affect the returns of the company. It helps the company to estimate which investment option would yield the best possible return. The third one is to control project expenditure. Capital budgeting focuses on minimizing the expenditure of investment projects. While examining the investment proposal, it ensures that the project has an adequate amount of inflows for meeting out its expenses and provide an anticipated return. The selection of effective investment projects helps companies in controlling their expenditure and earning better profit. However, the disadvantages of this technique are based on the estimation and assumptions, as the future will always remain uncertain, especially the duration of the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, capital budgeting decisions are riskier in nature, as it involves a large amount of capital expenditure. These decisions require the utmost care as it affects the success or failure of every business. Any wrong decisions regarding allotment of funds may lead the business to substantial losses or eventually cause a complete shutdown. And the last one, it ignores non-financial aspects. Capital budgeting techniques considers only financial aspects and ignores all non-financial aspects while analyzing the investment plans. Non-financial factors have an efficient role in the success and profitability of the project. The real profitability of the project cannot be determined by ignoring these factors. So that's all for this video. Thank you.